then this message is meant for you, because the cosmos has been watching your inner battle, the one you haven't spoken out loud. Before we go any further, I want you to hear this and let it settle deep within your chest. You are not to blame for what is about to happen. You never were. For too long now, you've been living with the ache of guilt that was never truly yours to hold. You've been carrying the weight of decisions you didn't make, consequences you couldn't control, and the pain of others that somehow landed at your feet. You've tried to fix what was broken, to hold together what was already falling apart, and to make peace in places where your voice was never meant to be the glue. And in doing so, you've lost sight of your own clarity, the lightness, the movement, the sharp truth that makes you you. Gemini, your dual nature was never meant to be a burden. It was a gift, a sacred flexibility, a mirror to both joy and sorrow. But somewhere along the way, you learned to question it. You started apologizing for your complexity, dimming your voice to make others more comfortable, editing your instincts to keep the peace. But that version of you, the one who bends, who softens, who holds back, is not the one the universe is calling forward now, because what's coming next in your life has nothing to do with how much you've earned or how much you've tried to make everything okay. It is not about effort. It is about timing. It is about surrender. And as we move deeper into this message, I'm going to walk you through the truth of what's rising for you now, why the chaos wasn't your fault, why the silence wasn't a sign of failure, and how everything is aligning to bring you back to the version of yourself that never needed to perform in the first place. You are closer to freedom than you realize. Stay with me. Let's go deeper. Gemini, what you're standing in the middle of, right now, the confusion, the unraveling, the shift you didn't see coming, is not your fault. You didn't cause it, and you couldn't have stopped it. No matter how quickly you moved, how many pieces you tried to hold together, or how hard you worked to see it coming before it did. These events, these changes, these endings or beginnings that feel just slightly out of reach, they are not punishments. They are not reflections of your worth or evidence of some misstep you made along the way. They are part of a greater unfolding, a cosmic realignment that was always meant to happen with or without your consent, because it was written in a language far older than your logic and shaped by forces much bigger than your ability to manage. Anticipate, or outthink, for someone like you, Gemini, so used to reading the room, solving the riddle, connecting the dots before anyone else even sees a pattern. This kind of surrender can feel like failure, but it isn't. It's an invitation. The universe doesn't need you to fix this. It doesn't need you to over-explain, over-apologize, or over-analyze what was never in your hands to begin with. What is breaking down now is making space for something more aligned to your truth, not your performance. And when you finally stop assigning yourself the role of the one who should have known better, done more, or seen it all coming, you'll feel the ground settle beneath you again, not because everything will make perfect sense, but because you'll stop fighting a current that was never yours to control. This is destiny, not the kind that demands perfection, but the kind that reveals itself in the ruins of what you thought you had to manage. And if you can release the belief that your effort determined the outcome, then you'll begin to feel something shift inside you, something ancient, something soft, something real. That's where we're going next. Gemini, into the space where your truth no longer needs to prove itself. Just be. Keep listening. We're almost there. Gemini, here's the truth you've been avoiding but already feel in your bones. The burden you've carried, the invisible weight of responsibility laced with guilt, has been slowly dimming the parts of you that once felt effortless, radiant, alive. Somewhere along the way, You started believing that being adaptable meant being responsible for everyone's balance. You read between the lines, filled in the blanks, spoke the words others couldn't say, and held space even when no one asked you to. And in doing that, you began shrinking yourself not because you were weak, but because you were trying to keep peace in rooms that were never designed to hold your full voice. You dulled your colors to match what was safe. You laughed when you wanted to scream. You held back your insight, your instincts, your brilliance, afraid that if you were too much, you'd break something fragile around you. But in protecting the comfort of others, you slowly betrayed your own nature. And that betrayal didn't happen all at once. It happened in small, quiet moments. The kind no one else noticed. Moments where you edited your truth to avoid confrontation. Where you played the neutral observer, so no one would label you the cause. Where you chose harmony over authenticity because you thought it was the right thing to do. But the cost, Gemini, was your light. And now the universe is asking no, demanding that you reclaim it, because the part of you that sees the world from every angle, that dances between thought and intuition, that speaks both shadow and possibility in the same breath, that part of you was never meant to be silenced or made digestible. That part of you was never a liability. It's your power. And if you've felt tired lately, uninspired, disconnected from the very things that once lit you up, it's because that power has been trying to break through the guilt that has kept it contained. You were never supposed to carry this much. Gemini, you were never meant to contort your soul just to make everything around you make sense. It's time to come back to center, not the version of you shaped by survival, but the one who remembers how it feels to be free. And in the next part of this message, we're going there, into the reclamation, the shedding, the return. Stay with me. This is where it begins. Gemini, the time of awakening is not coming, it's here. It's not some distant promise waiting on the other side of your next achievement, next compromise, or next performance. It's in this moment, right now, quietly asking you to stop trying so hard to earn what was always yours. You've spent so much of your life bending, proving, pleasing, thinking if you were clever enough, kind enough, adaptable enough, maybe then you'd be safe. Maybe then you'd be chosen. Maybe then you'd finally feel like enough. But that chase ends here. You don't have to fight to be worthy anymore. You don't have to translate your truth into something others can tolerate just to feel accepted. You don't have to keep shape-shifting into whatever version of yourself feels easiest to love. Because what's truly meant for you, peace, connection, clarity, will only find you when you stop fighting your own reflection. This is the call to surrender, not in weakness, not in defeat, but in radical trust. Trust that you were never broken. Trust that your voice doesn't need to be softened. Trust that your energy, your humor, your insight, your duality, everything that makes you, you, is not something to manage or correct, but something to live out loud. And yes, this means you'll disappoint some people. Yes, it means you'll stop fitting into roles that once made others comfortable. Yes, it means letting go of the guilt you've carried for taking up space, for outshining, for knowing too much, too soon. But what you gain in return is immeasurable. Your clarity, your freedom, your power. So let this be the moment you stop explaining. Stop apologizing for being quick, for being deep, for being curious, for being contradictory, for being real. Let your light take up its full space, not to impress, not to prove, but because it's yours. Let yourself stop pleasing everyone. Let yourself stop managing everyone else's peace at the expense of your own. When you stop resisting your nature, Gemini, you unlock the life that was always trying to find you. And in the next breath, we step into that life unapologetic, unedited, whole. Let's go. And now, Gemini, let's ground this transformation in something more tangible, because while the energy around you is shifting in powerful, unseen ways, the effects are already rippling into specific corners of your life. Each one calling forward a different version of your truth. Depending on when you were born within the Gemini season, this awakening will take on a form that's uniquely crafted for your soul's path, not as a reward for endurance, but as a natural result of everything you've quietly been becoming. If your birthday falls between May 21 and May 31, the next few weeks may unfold with surprising clarity around your role in leadership, not in the traditional, loud, center stage way, but in the quiet authority that emerges when you finally trust your own voice. There's a new invitation to step into influence, to guide without force, to own your perspective without explaining it away. People will begin to turn toward you, not just for your ideas, but for your steadiness in transition. You won't need to assert yourself. The moment will call you forward organically, simply because your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. This is not about control, it's about embodying the authority you've always sensed but never fully claimed. If you were born between the 1st of June and the 10th of June, your transformation is tied to relationships, the ones that are ending, beginning, or being rewritten entirely. Someone from your past may reappear, not to repeat an old cycle, but to help you understand how far you've come. Or someone entirely new may enter your life, holding a frequency that feels like a mirror to your healed self. Either way, you'll be asked to release old stories, the ones where you had to overfunction to feel loved, or abandon parts of yourself to be understood. What's coming is a connection built not on performance, but on presence. And to receive it, you have to stop performing. Let them meet the real you. Let them earn access to your depth. Let love be rooted in truth, not effort. And for those born between the 11th of June and the 20th of June, this shift is awakening your creative intelligence in ways that may catch even you off guard. You've always had the ideas, the insight, the spark, but now, the fear of being misunderstood is dissolving, and in its place is a quiet urgency to create, to express, to share without editing. This isn't about being seen, it's about finally seeing yourself clearly, whether it's through words, movement, invention, or healing. Your soul is hungry for authentic expression. You're not here to echo anyone else's rhythm. You're here to craft your own, and when you do, it will resonate far beyond what you expect, no matter when you were born. Gemini, this is your season of return, not to who you were told to be, but to the self that has been waiting patiently beneath every layer of guilt, confusion, and adaptation. Your timeline is unfolding with precision, and your only job now is to stop resisting what's rising. In the next moment, we'll look deeper at what this release truly makes room for. You're not just letting go, you're coming home. So here's the wider view. Gemini, the truth that stretches far beyond this single moment, weaving through every version of you that's ever questioned your path. Every twist, every delay, every heartbreak that didn't make sense at the time was never wasted. The confusion, the chaos, the times you felt like you were split between two truths, those weren't signs that you were broken. They were part of a sacred preparation, slowly shaping you into someone who could carry complexity with clarity, who could hold paradox without falling apart. You weren't being tested. You were being tuned, calibrated, refined. made ready for a season of alignment so precise. It will feel like things are falling into place on their own. And that's not luck. That's arrival. Because what you're stepping into now is not about chasing or performing, it's about receiving. It's about the subtle, stunning realization that the universe has always known what you needed. Even when you didn't. You've done the inner labor. You've dismantled the stories that said you had to earn love, prove your worth, or be everything for everyone just to belong. And now, you're entering a season of harvest, not because you've been perfect, but because you've been present. You stayed. You listened. You grew. And now, the energy around you is shifting to match the truth you've finally started to live.